Hello and welcome to Juice with Justin. In today's episode, I'm going to come at you with a bold prediction. Post-corona, and as social distancing measures become eased, we're going to have a huge rise in injuries with respects to people coming back to playing sports. You've got to be fit and in shape already to play sports. Unfortunately, people kind of do the opposite. They use sports and recreational activities to get fit. Imagine an overweight individual trying to run 10 kilometers on concrete and all the stress and pounding that are going into that person's joints. Imagine a youth or high school athlete going from a relatively and increased sedentary lifestyle with online schooling and lockdowns and being at home, more time in front of the screen, maybe poor sleep and nutrition habits, etc. All of a sudden going into a sports atmosphere, being asked to sprint and produce power and athletic movements over and over and over again. Recipe for disaster. You've got to be fit to play sports, and right now, the majority of people probably aren't fit. They've been in quarantine, lockdown, whatever, in the last 2, 3, 4 weeks, not have access to a gym, weights, their strength training routines, not have had access to their recreational sports, and the majority of people, again, just aren't ready to come back into playing. Add this to the fact that you're going to have this pent-up demand, like mental want, just to do things. People haven't done stuff for weeks. My high school athletes are going to want to make up for lost time and do even more work, play even more, twice a day if they can. Compare that to your weekend warrior athlete type. That even includes me. I just want to play pickup basketball. My friends are trying to get games 2, 3 times a week. We're all really not ready for this stuff. Our capacity to do things, our ability to play these sports and handle these loads on your body, if they were here, if they were high before Corona, now they're going to be like here. And the load that we're going to place on our bodies is going to be at that original point or even higher with this pent-up demand. Bodies are going to break. Hopefully these are going to be more manageable things, soft tissue injuries like calf strains, hamstring pulls, things of this nature. We're probably going to get ankle sprains, low back issues, and knock on wood, hopefully we don't get things more serious like ligament tears and stuff like that. Obviously, I presented this problem here. I've always been taught, don't present a problem without a solution. So what could you do now if you're just getting back into sports to sort of minimize the impact on your body and minimize injury risk? First off, you could load manage. I know we're going to want to make up for lost time and do extra work. How about taking small steps every day, and over the course of a couple weeks, we can look back and we can see how much we've improved over time, as opposed to trying to take these big leaps immediately and increasing our injury risk. For example, instead of playing your sport or your skills training, doing that every day or twice a day, maybe we start off once a day or every other day. Take note of how you feel the day after when you wake up. How sore is your body? Do you have any nagging muscle or joint issues? If so, maybe take an extra day before you go back into that. This idea of build up. Crawl before you walk, walk before you run, run before you sprint, as opposed to just getting right into the sprinting. Give yourself some good strength stimulus. Gyms are going to start to open up. Get in there. Do your PPC pillars. Squat, hinge, push, pull. Move well. Strength can be built up very easily in small doses as long as you're consistent. Lastly, and these are things you can definitely control, make sure we're getting enough sleep. Put good stuff in our bodies. Drink enough water. These are simple things that you can control and will benefit you now. Having said that, these actions are sort of reactionary as opposed to proactive. Learn some lessons here. There's this idea of maintenance is so much easier and requires much less work than having these big swings in your athleticism and fitness level. For example, maximum strength can last approximately 30 days without getting that maximal strength stimulus. Speed, like sprint speed, can last approximately 3 to 5 days without getting any stimulus. Cardiovascular ability, this can last weeks. There's this minimal dose theory where if you give your body these sort of stimuluses within these time frames, you're going to maintain these levels. We may not be able to improve or get huge gains when we don't have access to equipment, our sports, all this sort of stuff, but we can keep levels relatively the same. So in the future, do bodyweight training, do some isometrics once or twice a week. This will help minimize reductions in your athleticism. Use this experience now, understand what's worked, what hasn't worked. Perhaps educate yourself on some strategies that you can use for maintenance purposes. To wrap it up, there are going to be injuries coming back to sports post-COVID. And I've already seen it starting to happen. Take care of your nutrition, take care of your sleep, drink lots of water. Try to manage your load or the volume in the activity that you're doing. And try to do things to increase your capacity to handle that volume or load as it has been reduced in the last few weeks. Most importantly, listen to your body. If things feel off, don't just play through pain. Do something about it. If you don't, it's just going to take you longer to get back to where you were before all this stuff happened. I'm going to take a minute to announce this week's winner of our PPC approved Small Business Giveaway. This episode, we're auctioning off a 500,000 VND gift certificate to the Elbow Room. The winner is Shauna Carey. I'll be in touch. Next episode, we're giving away a 500,000 VND gift certificate to Meatworks. This is Joanne and I's go-to spot for all of our proteins. To enter, tag a friend in the comments. Thanks for joining this episode of Juice with Justin.